If you want to win in the marketplace, you need to be the faster learner you can. This video is about teaching you what is my framework to learn and master a complicated subject every week. I am the CEO and founder of Selfmastered, which is a high-performance training company. We help entrepreneurs and business leaders scale their businesses by teaching them 8 core high-performance skills that allow them to operate at peak potential when managing their businesses. Now, before we dive deep, remember to like, subscribe, and comment so that we can keep bringing you 2 juicy videos every week to help people like you scale the businesses or accelerate their careers by mastering their personal performance. So today I want to discuss what is the framework that I have developed over the years to help me master difficult subjects. Subjects like neuroscience, behavioral science, complexity science, but also marketing, sales, things that I didn't know because I never studied them, but I need them now if I want to build and scale this 7-figure business. Because remember, I am an architect by training, and then I become a real estate venture capital guy. So I am more on the finance operation side of things, and I'm not good at marketing. I was not good at sales, and I have had to learn all of this. And how have I managed to pull this off, and how do I keep making sure that I learn as fast as possible? Well, by following the following framework that I really ask you to implement it because it works and I really want you to win. Now, there's 3 things you need to do to become a learning machine. And one is understanding why are you learning something, because I see this time and time again. There's entrepreneurs in our community come to me and said, I have been trying to master X, but I just don't find the time to consistently study that subject. And that normally happens when there's distance between your professional life, so what it is that you're doing for a living, and the thing that you are trying to master. So for instance, if you are willing to build a fintech company, and at the same time, on the side, you're willing to learn Vietnamese cuisine, it is very hard when things get tough on your fintech career to find the time to do Vietnamese career. It is what it is. Unless you link that learning protocol to your purpose, to that long-term goal that you're chasing, it is just very hard to be consistent. So what I suggest is that really look at the direction that you have taken for your life, what it is that you're chasing, what are you building, what is the life that you design for yourself, and then try to learn based on that design. Because disconnected learning, it is very hard to sustain. So first thing first is understanding why do you want to learn what you have decided to learn. So in my case, I learned marketing because I need to market Selfmastered, and I would rather do it myself than hire someone else. I learned sales because I need to sell the fantastic product that we built over the years. But I also keep learning complexity science because we want to be at the forefront of peak performance education, and the future is about complexity science, understanding the complex forces that affect our behavior and cognition. But why neuroscience? Because there's more research being done on flow states and how to master yourself under the current complexity, and we just want to improve the product every 3 to 6 months. So everything that I learn is directed toward the sole goal of building the best company I can with the best team I can find to serve our clients. I am not trying to master Vietnamese cuisine. I am not trying to master Russian as a language, even though both things would be pretty cool, but I just have no time, and I know I will not be consistent at it. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is honor your brain's way of learning. Because if you really want to make learning a habit, you need to understand what is learning. And learning is nothing else than restructuring your brain. Every time you learn something new, you are creating a new connection, a new synapse between neurons. You are effectively changing the underlying physical structure of your brain. But doing this, which is called neuroplasticity, is hard. It's not something that can be done easy. You need to summon enough cognitive energy to trigger this process. And this normally involves strain. In fact, strain is the entry point to neuroplasticity. And I'm saying this because if you truly want to learn something, you need to devote time to it. And the best way of doing it is by honoring your ultradian rhythm. So now you know that neuroplasticity is directly involved with learning. And what are ultradian rhythms? Ultradian rhythms are, basically we humans follow a rhythm of ebbs and flows. Every 90 minutes, our energy changes, and that happens during the night and during the day. So the best way of learning is by devoting 90 minutes at a time to learning one specific subject, whatever that is. Why? Because the first 5 to 10 minutes, you are going to be battling against yourself in order to get focused on the things that you're trying to learn. It is just what it is. The first 5 to 10 minutes are lost because you're summoning the cognitive energy needed to learn that topic. And then after 5 to 10 minutes, you have 70, 80, even 90, 85 minutes to truly get deep into the topic. And then the next priority is make sure you do not get distracted, right? Because distractions are the best way of preventing deep learning. And after 70 to 80 minutes, you're probably going to be tired at that time, and you need to give your brain the ability to rest and recover. Remember, the high performance is about ebbs and flows. You cannot be 100% on all the time, nor you want to be. So that's tip number 2. You need to have a specific time, ideally 90 minutes every day and every week to learn. I do this first thing in the morning from 7:30 to 9. I am learning new things every single day. This is very important. Now, tip number 3, you need to have some sort of note-taking system that it can be very simple, just pen and paper or a Google Doc. Or if you want to get more fancy, you can create some sort of Zettelkasten, look that up, to have your notes together. Either way, the most important thing is that you take notes on what you read or the content you consume. You need to be active about your knowledge consumption, because just reading or watching something is not enough to trigger that neuroplasticity and myelinating those connections for long enough so that that knowledge becomes permanent. You need to revisit the same material, ponder and reflect about the same topics for long enough so that the brain understands that you truly want to know this for the long term. I use a Zettelkasten system in which all of my notes are linked all together so that every time I want to learn something new about marketing, I would understand it in the context of everything that I have already been studying. This is massively powerful. So do not sit on this tip. So that's tip number 3. And tip number 4, extra bonus tip, is about rest. Truth is that neuroplasticity is not triggered during the time that you are exerting effort to learn. It's not triggered first thing in the morning in my case. Neuroplasticity is triggered at night when we sleep. That's when your brain will effectively understand that they need to myelinate new connection between neurons. So if you do not sleep enough, you will not get the benefits of neuroplasticity. So you would compromise your ability to learn. So 3+1 tips to make you an insanely effective learner and have an edge in the marketplace as an entrepreneur. I know being an entrepreneur is very complicated. It is complex. There's a lot of chaos. Doesn't matter. Devote 90 minutes every day to learn and master a complicated subject, because knowledge compounds. And if you want to win, you need to take responsibility of your learning protocols. So remember, 1, understand why are you willing to learn whatever it is that you decide to learn. So how is it linked to the purpose? 2, understand what are your ultradian rhythms and why 90 minutes is the ideal amount of time you should devote to learning every single day. And then 3, have a note-taking system, practice active consumption of knowledge to revisit the same material enough time so that your brain understands that this is really important for the long term. And then bonus tip, sleep. Sleep enough, because it is during sleep when our brain actively changes the underlying physical structure and myelinates the correct neurological connections. I hope this was useful. Please let me know in the comments if this is something you already do or this is something you're willing to implement. And I really hope you leverage this framework, because it has made me massively successful. I didn't know anything about marketing or sales or neuroplasticity or neuroscience not that many years ago. And I just took responsibility of my learning protocols and started learning in this way. And I see the results, and our clients see the results. So I really hope you do this. It is very simple. But if you're consistent at this, you're going to see massive return on time spent. See you in the next video.